Now we're gonna get in touch with our Italian roots, and I'm gonna show you how to make the best homemade pasta. Once you try this, you won't go back. All you're gonna need for this is all-purpose flour, 2 eggs, salt. Water is optional. It depends on how the hardness of the dough comes out. And there are so many different types of pasta. Sometimes you can use 00 flour, semonella flour, it depends. But today we're gonna be using all-purpose. We're gonna take the mound of flour, place it down, and like a real Italian, we're gonna make a little hole in the middle, and we're gonna take our eggs and crack them in the middle. The second egg, and at this point you're gonna wanna crack these and slowly incorporate the flour. You don't wanna do it too fast. Slowly take it in, just kinda sort of scrambling it in a sense in the middle. When it's slightly incorporated, you're gonna wanna take a little bit of salt and just kind of put it in the middle, and then you can continue incorporating it. After a while, you can start incorporating more of it. And at this point, I like to do it by hand. And it will be very sticky, so you'll have to sort of scrape it off your fingers to make sure it all gets together. But after a while, you just kind of want to keep going until all the dough is mixed together. And it is a little bit hard and cracking, so I'm gonna just take a little bit of water and just put a little bit right in the middle and mix it all together. And this should help soften the dough, make it a little chewier, and overall I believe just tastes better. And some people will add oil to it, but I don't like adding the oil. Again, it's a personal preference thing, but this is how I learned. We are going to flatten it out. Different types of dough you use will kind of determine how stretchy the dough will be. Also, if you have a pasta machine, this will make the process 10 times easier, but you can always do it by hand. It's how I learned, and I feel like it's a very good way to start out. You want to get it pretty thin. Now we'll fold it in half and repeat the process again, but this time we want it to be thinner. And at this point, I like to split the dough just so that it's a more manageable. At this point, it should be good, long, malleable, and of course it kind of isn't very even, so we'll cut it now. And with these scraps, I like to get them together, and I'll either make them into another dough ball at the end, or I'll save them for later. It really just depends on how much I have left. Actually, what we'll do is we're gonna fold them 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 3 times each. And then, and since we're doing it by hand, some of these aren't gonna be the prettiest, such as this one. And with these ones, I kinda like to do them a little short. Of course, purely a suggestion. I like to grab them and then twist them around and form a little ball. And this can be stored in the freezer. I wouldn't necessarily do it in the fridge unless you're planning on using it that day, but this can freeze for a little while. And then you just put it aside, and then when you drop them in the water, they're pretty easy. Just drop it and you're good. And now we're gonna use this pasta that we just made to make a pesto fettuccine. It's, again, a pretty simple one. It's gonna consist of our homemade noodles, a little bit of garlic, shallots or onions, lemon zest, cherry tomato medley, pesto, pine nuts, and then a little bit of lemon juice, Parmesan, salt and pepper. And the pine nuts, again, are optional, but I believe they complement the flavors extremely well, especially when matching with the pesto and it looks so pretty and delicious in the end. So we're gonna start off by boiling off our noodles first because they do take a little bit of time. So we're gonna take them over here to a salted boiling water and just kind of drop that in. Give it a quick little stir and leave them to boil. And you're gonna cook these al dente. We're gonna come over here, take our oil, and this is extra virgin olive oil. Toss it in the pan. Our garlic. And this we want to cook until it's aromatic and not browned. And then we'll take our shallots. And if it does brown, it's not the biggest deal. At this point, I like to turn off the heat, keep it moving around a little bit. And then we'll grab our pasta, try to get them as drained as we can. And I personally like to let them cook off a little bit. That is, again, personal preference. And then we're gonna take our pesto. And get it mixed. At this point, you can turn off the heat just so that the pesto doesn't break into just oil. We'll add some lemon juice. And then this, I believe, is one of the most important parts for every pasta dish. You're gonna take a little bit of your pasta water and just throw it in there. Adding in that starch water will make it a creamier consistency, sort of saucy, as you can see. You're gonna take your Parmesan and slowly mix it around. And the amount of Parmesan, again, is up to personal preference. I don't like to put too much in the beginning because you will eventually put it in later as a garnish. And then we're gonna add our cherry tomatoes and our roasted pine nuts, salt and pepper. And at this point, you're just gonna wanna mix it all together. Just kind of scoop it all in there. Garnish it off with some Parmesan, a little bit more pine nut. So now we're gonna try it. Oh my gosh, that is my favorite dish to make. It's very refreshing, yet flavorful with the tomatoes and the pesto. It just overall has such an amazing taste, and the homemade pasta it's indescribable, really. It's something you just have to try yourself. I'm gonna take another bite. This is just insane, outstanding. Give it a try. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media accounts to stay updated with everything we're making. And if you want to make reservations at the restaurant, just go down to the link in the bio and click on that link. And we'll see you guys here soon, hopefully to make you some amazing food and give you the experience of a lifetime. Thank you and ciao.